Welcome back. This is Mojon Sports coming to you from Radio Row, Mandalay Bay Hotel. It is the Northwest Tank Line Super Bowl show. And, man, this guy we just bumped into each other walking through the casino. And, like, when I see him, it's like a brother from another mother, as he says. He's one of the characters, one of the guys that I love seeing. I know Chris Burns talks about him in the same way. And one of our favorites, he's been to Vancouver for charity events. The one and only, the man who should be in the damn Football Hall of Fame as the best fullback in the league ever, Lorenzo Neal.
Mo, what's up, brother? How we doing, big fella?
Man, it's just nice seeing you, man.
It's always great to see you, man.
It's always. We've guys had so many memories, so many parties.
Nights out, so many great times. And that's what life is. You know, the life is about memories. How many people do you choose to, we get the older you get, you choose to keep your circle close and keep it small. And, Mo, you're just one of those guys, brother, that you're infectious. You've always been the salt of the earth. You give your shirt off your back. You give me your last cigar every time I see you. I'm like, Mo, I need a cigar. Here, Lo, this is my last one. I'm like, gosh. I mean, you're just a great guy, man. That's why it's always awesome to see you and visit with you.
Oh, man, thank you for the kind words, but you're going over the top on this one. Hey, let's get into a whole bunch of stuff, man. You cover the 49ers.
Yes.
For one of the media outlets in San Francisco. TV, right?
Yes, yeah. I do. KPX is Channel 5. And also do 95.7 The Game. So it's the Bay Area sports talk show. So so 2 stations, 1 radio and 1 TV.
Yeah, because I always see like a lot of your stuff on Instagram. Yeah. By the way, you're looking sharp. I don't know how much the budget you have for for clothing.
And you see your boy getting pretty in the face, slim in the waist. I'm trying to keep that nice
good.
figure.
You look like you can still play.
Yeah, I got one play in me. And then Mo, you gotta have to come out and pull me off the field, pick me up, walk me to the locker room, give me my Epsom salt. After that, you're gonna have to carry me and feed me through feed me soup through a straw, so it'd be all your fault.
One play, right?
One play.
I think you'd have more than one play. But let's talk about this 49er team and the evolution of it throughout the course of the year. I mean, what have you seen from this 49er team at the start? From what you saw at the start, do you expect them to be where they're at now?
You expected them to be here, and it's almost like fool's gold because you have so much expectation. You look last year, you're a game away from the Super Bowl. Purdy gets hurt. And you see it just fall off the rails because they went with the guy who played, and has been on the couch and didn't have a sufficient backup, and it really hurt them. So everyone was like, okay, got it. Purdy didn't get hurt. This team's in the Super Bowl. You look at what he did when he came in. Once, Jimmy was injured, Purdy last year, and it was like, wow. Can this guy hold it? Or was it just 1 game magic? Was it 2 games? Was it 3 games? And then you just saw this guy continue to hold a line. You saw him just continue to be great. You could see him to continue to say, look, take what the defense give, understand what Kyle Shanahan's offense, how it works, and what his went through with the progressions to make sure that he didn't overdo it and overthink it. And that's what I think that just it's been the curse and a blessing because he's been so good, and this team has been so good. You have Ayuk. You have, hey, diddle, kittle down the middle. You have Debo. You can throw the ball, throw it to him, a 5-yard catch, and he can turn it into, the yak yards after contact and what he can do. So it almost put Purdy in a position of failure because people said, oh, well, he's got these abundance of weapons. Jimmy G didn't have to do much. They ran it 38 times one time in the playoff, and they made it to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. This system, you look at RG3, look at the system that the Shanahan's run, and most quarterbacks have had success. And I'll agree, and that's why I think some of the critics come. I'll agree to disagree. The disagreement part, but who's ran it to perfection like this kid? Who's been so successful like this kid? Who has taken this offense and said, okay, I know what you want, Channing, but I'm going to make sure that I do what you want, but I'm going to win with it. And that's the thing. He's won with his arms, he's won with his legs, and he's won because he's got a good team around him.
Do you know the big thing with Brock Purdy to me? It's always about but, right? Like
yeah.
But. I think if he wins this game, there's no more yet. There can't be any more yet.
Agreed.
Agreed. I mean, it's just enough.
Agreed.
The guy, okay, he's the last pick in the draft. People are always, so it's a team around him, this, that. Hey, man, you got this team to the Super Bowl, right? Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, you're right. How is that? How is that with you when and not just Brock, but just everyone, as they would say, he got this team to a Super Bowl. Jimmy G, he got this team to a Super Bowl. And now, he's a quarterback that played in the Super Bowl, but did he get this team to the Super Bowl? Did I'm talking about Jimmy G. I look at Mahomes. They say, okay, Mahomes, yeah, I think he's the best quarterback in the league, but did he get his team to the Super Bowl this year? You held Baltimore to 7 points. You look with is he still great? So that's the narrative with me that always kinds of chap my backside, because I think it's lazy sometimes, lazy media, just lazy people say, oh, he got this team to the Super Bowl. Now, there's been years when Mahomes carried his team to a Super Bowl. So I don't know this year, is it right to just say Mahomes carried them to the Super Bowl? Because I think their defense this year carried the Kansas City Chiefs to the Super Bowl.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I mean, you look at that team, it's a different team that got KC. I mean, it's not hey, let's air it out, Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
No, this is a team that basically got there because of their defense and their running game.
Absolutely.
Right? It's about Pacheco basically drive the engine in that offense. I mean, yeah, Mahomes makes the throws.
When he has to. He's amazing.
He makes a big play. And, when I looked at that game against the Ravens, afterwards I picked the Ravens beforehand. When I looked at all the numbers, the defense, this, that, the fact that KC went up against a banged-up Buffalo defense, I thought, hey, the Ravens aren't banged up. There's going to be a different Mahomes still found a way, and I think that's the thing that scares me if I'm a 49er fan. It's never mind all the matchups. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Agreed.
Right?
Because he's got that one throw. He's got that not one. He's got a plethora of throws. If you give him time, he can come down and you see the guy can find a way to will his team to win. He's a champion that's been on a canvas that finds a way to get up, and you got to kill him. He's like a cockroach. He's like a cat. He has 9 lives. He's like a cockroach. You can't kill him. When you look at Baltimore, why didn't they run? Why did Lamar Jackson be
Sit
Lamar
in the
Jackson?
pocket.
Okay. Now, Mose, I miss you, brother. I miss you because
dude, I saw one stat that said that he had been in the pocket like 21 times for 3 or more seconds, which was the most since like 2021 or 2019. I mean, some ridiculous stat like that. I'm trying to remember it off my head, but they just made him into a pocket quarterback. That's not Lamar Jackson.
It was ridiculous to see this guy sit because his legs can kill you.
Yes.
You've seen him throw the ball, catch the ball, pick up 30 yards on that play. You're like, oh, my God. Why isn't this guy taking off?
And, dude, if he ran the ball just 3 or 4 times, you know what it's like? The thing is, I always talk about this. You don't necessarily have to do it all the time, but the defense has to respect it.
Now they can't.
Right?
It slows down the rush.
They have to respect him running, but they didn't have to respect him because he never did.
And when you don't respect the running, now you can pin your ears back and go get the quarterback. When you respect the run, now you can't just
They made him into Peyton Manning.
Exactly. How much did you lose? How much did you have on the game? Because you're in too deep. You're too hot on this, Mo. Mo, you're too hot right now.
I didn't have anything on it, although I did pick the Ravens against the spread. So you read me like a book there, Lo. You read me like a book.
We're a brother from another mother. There you go.
Hey, one thing I want to touch base on, the 3-game losing streak that the 49ers went through the middle of the season. Cleveland, Minnesota, Cincinnati. I always look at that, and I think it's a positive for a team. And the reason I say that, I would rather a team that's gone through adversity during the course of the year, and if they get to a championship game, they know how to handle that adversity. How many times do you see teams that have monster regular seasons, no adversity, and they face adversity in the playoffs, and it's like they're looking around going, what's going on? What do we do?
Yeah, they crack, they
right?
fold. And that's what you didn't get with the Niners. And I like the way the Niners, the way that they bounce back. When you saw them go on that losing streak, you heard them say, we got to play better. We got to get this thing corrected. It's not the calls. It's not the coaches. It's us. And you saw, even when they lost to a team, when they lost to the first team they lost to, I think it was Cleveland Browns. When they lost to Cleveland, they only had 3 first downs in the first half. In the last drive of the game, they had 4 first downs, more first downs they had in the whole half, and they still had a chance to win the game, and Mooney misses a field goal. So Purdy had that, even though as bad as he played, think about it, they still could have won that game. Minnesota, he throws 3 interceptions. But look how they drove down.
Lost by 5.
Exactly, and had a chance at the end of the game. Cincinnati, they didn't have a chance. So when you look at the team, though, and even when Purdy has played bad in games they should have lost, he's found a way, at least to give him an opportunity to have a chance to win the game, and that's what's been big.
All right, I'm not going to ask you who wins and why, because obviously you want the 49ers to win, being from San Francisco, being a big
But right
guy.
now you got to say Kansas. The way Kansas City's been playing and what you've seen with the Niners, if they don't get this defense fixed and stop the run, Detroit Lions should still be running the ball today.
Yeah.
I mean, Green Bay should still be running the ball.
Well, that's the question I was going to ask you. How does San Francisco win it?
Well, I tell you right now, you got to do better job defensive ends. You brought a guy in from the Commanders, and you said, hey, Chase Young, he's got to be more of a force on that end. When he sees sweep, he's got to say, and defense and the linebackers got to say, crack, 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 and now he's got to fight out and make sure he gets up the field. Get up the field.
Get that edge.
The corner has to see that, and they got to say, hey, crack, crack, crack. He sees him motioning in to crack the end. Then guess what? Now you got to get across the field. Don't wait on the other side of the ball. You got to get across the field. Now you turn it back in. You got to have the safety come run down in the lane and play force, because when you don't and you run the hump and you're playing back, now Fred Warner and those linebackers, because you create the defensive end and you push him up the field, now they got to run over the hump and run a bevel instead of getting downhill.
And the other thing, too, even if they do go outside, if he can get that edge, get upfield 2-3 yards, set that edge, and make the running back bubble,
yes.
Now you're buying time for your secondary support to come through. So yeah,
that's got to be big. The safeties, secondary, they got to be big.
You know what's big? Big was having you on.
Man, you're the best, brother. Appreciate it.
It's been a while. I know you haven't been to Radio Row for a couple of years, but
yeah.
49ers are here. Great to see you, Loa, and I know we're going to have a cigar at some point.
No question. Cheers. You're the best, Mose.